Okay, looks like that worked. I'm gonna just check and make sure. Yep, looks like we're up on my phone too. It kind of had a little hiccup right when I was ready to click live and decided to kind of freeze a little bit there. Oh goodness. Okay, turn that volume down real quick. You don't need to hear me twice. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everyone is having a good week. Can't believe it's Tuesday already. I feel like this week is just flying by super fast. But I'm excited to craft again with you guys today. I know I did YouTube last week with you guys, and then Leah did Facebook Live. So I'm back again with YouTube Live this week. We both have a lot going on, and Leah in particular was super busy today. So I took this one today. So this will be our only card live this week. We do have a scrapbooking live with Natalie, and that will be happening on Friday morning. I do see Leah behind the comments there. So perfect. That means I've got her here ready to moderate. So if you're into scrapbooking or paper crafting, or even if you're just kind of curious about it, those are always super inspiring. So I hope you'll come to that. Hi, Barb. Welcome to everyone who's here. I know a lot of our card making friends come to that scrapbook live, and I, of course, I'm much more of a card maker, but I always love the ideas and the tips that Natalie has. And quite honestly, it usually inspires me to want to go pull up my stuff and start scrapbooking again. So you never know, that's kind of where I started. And so I kind of love watching those come to life each week. All right. So as everyone kind of finds us here today, I also posted my little sneak peek to Instagram a little later than normal. I was in a meeting and I just totally spaced it out and realized about 20 minutes. So there might be a few people filtering in a little bit late. But let's go over a couple things before we get started on our crafting. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm going to plug my hot foil machine in because I was just about to say we have a bunch of hot foiling to do, and I realized it would be really wise if I got that heating up while we go over these things, because that usually takes a little bit of time. Okay, there we go. Almost spaced that one out. I told you guys my brain's half gone. So a couple things. We give away a $15 gift card for every one of these lives. So the way you enter for those is just what you're already doing, leaving lots of messages in the chat. You can ask a question. You can answer a question if someone asks something that you know the answer to. Just kind of chat and have fun with your friends. That's kind of why we're here, and that's one of the best parts of these lives. Another way that you can enter for that $15 gift card is to share this live video with someone. It can be in an email, in a message, on one of your social media pages, or in a group that you're part of if you know that it's allowed with the rules. And if you do that, come back and just leave us another little comment. Let us know that you shared, and that will count as another entry at the end of this live. Now, as you're chatting and asking those questions, I will do my best to watch and see those. My rate of catching those questions definitely slows down when I start crafting. But the Pinkfresh Studio name there, Leah is behind the scenes and behind that name. So if there's anything I miss, she does a great job of catching all of those. If by chance somehow we both miss them, sometimes the comments and stuff just move really quick, or if she's answering one and misses another one go by, I promise we're not ignoring you. Just leave that question again and we'll get that answered the second time around on a really busy day, maybe on the third time around, but I promise we'll catch it and get that. If you have questions about what I'm using, Shirley, I was just talking about our weekly scrapbook live that we do on YouTube on Friday morning. I guess for me, it's morning. It's noon Central Standard Time. So just another weekly live that we do that's really great and fun to check out. All right, let's see. Now I lost my train of thought there. Oh, one other thing we really appreciate is if you hit that little thumbs up button. It doesn't necessarily count as an entry for the giveaway, but we really appreciate it and it helps more people find us on this. And I remember what I was starting to say. If you have questions about what I use today, I'll do my best to kind of leave those out where you can see them and you know what we're working with. I also have everything linked in the video description, at least as far as I know. Sometimes on the spur of the moment in the live, something extra has to get pulled out and just kind of go with that when that happens. But for the most part, they're all linked there, the ink colors and all the products that I'm using. Nothing is sneak peeking today. These are all from a couple months ago or a few months ago. I'm kind of mixing and matching from a few different releases. So all of these are available and you can find those. Feel free to ask again, but if you're looking for those, then you can just pop down to the video description and find those. And I think that's everything. I think my foil plate is probably getting close to warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my camera turned around and we'll start kind of prepping and getting ready to start doing our hot foiling for the day. So bear with me as I get that switched around there. All right. Let's pull out some of what we're going to be using today. This is what we're starting with here. You guys, I've not even used this new set. This is called Go For It, and it was from a couple months ago. I don't remember exactly which release. I want to say August, perhaps. But it's got this beautiful dainty floral. There's a stamp set with some really great sentiments. Of course, a coordinating die. There's even a die for one of those larger sentiments. Naturally, there's layering stencils. And then there's the hot foil plate. And we're going to use that today. So I'm kind of in a hot foiling mood. So we're just going to kind of go for that. And then this is from, I think, earlier this spring, the Nested Diamonds. And it had been out of stock for a good long while. And I just happened to notice today that those nested ones were back in stock. So I thought, I'm going to pull that out. We're going to kind of put that to use. So we're going to do some double hot foiling today. We'll set the rest of these product suites out of the way. And then I'm also going to use, I don't think it has arrived yet in the Pinkfresh store, but these are, I'm going to use another one of these new glimmer hot foil rolls. This is a variety pack that just released from Spellbinders. It's the Satin Metallics. Leah and I have both used a couple of these. And I'm going to use the one that's a little more of a true gold. Last week I used kind of that kind of rose silver. I don't know, it's not really rose gold, but it was like a silver with a hint of a pink tone. I think Leah used kind of that champagne color. And then there's a rose gold and then the true gold. And that's the one I'm going to go ahead and use today. So just again, these are not yet available in the Pinkfresh store, but I'm sure we have them on order because they're really beautiful. They're kind of, they're, for lack of anything better, they really are kind of a satiny finish that's really, truly beautiful. So Leah and I've both been really enjoying getting our hands on those. All right, and I'm going to trim down my foil here because my hot foil machine just finished heating up. So we're going to cut just a couple pieces of this foil. Got my pieces of cardstock, and then we'll just one right after the other foil both of these pieces. Get you flat so I can cut off the right length. All right, and then I'm going to do the little shimmy around of my desk here and move this hot foil machine over so it's a little more on camera. As always, we both kind of have limited desk space. I'm going to try and get it on so you can see the lights down here. We're going to start here with the florals. I'm going to get that heating. And then we'll foil that one first, and then we'll pivot over and do the diamonds. Yes, like Leah said, there's kind of that perfect in between a matte and a shiny finish. They really are pretty lovely. So I've been really loving and enjoying these new colors. Of course, the only 2 times I've used them truly have been the one live and then right now, because I haven't had a lot of spare time for crafting in between lately. But yes, Gina, I know a lot of people, a rotary trimmer, Spellbinders has their own little trimmer too. Especially in a light, like sometimes on the other things I pull them out, but limited desk space, so it starts to get kind of cluttery. Someone asked me a sequin. No, you know what, this if you're talking about this little spot right up here in the corner, I've used this plate, I can't even tell you, all of our videos and everything, I've used it a ton and starting to just wear through from tons and tons of use. So I have a new one in a box. I just haven't had time to pull it out yet because I'm kind of feeling like it's eventually going to become a problem. It hasn't yet, and I need to just take the time to break my new one out of the box and go ahead and do that. All right, I popped it loose from the back there. I added my foil, my paper, my cardstock, hammer melt, and then my two plates. And then we're gonna run it through our die cut machine. Okay, only once through on that one because I found I have better results on the fine detail in here. Before we move on, let's see. Now I gotta remember, where did I put it? There it is. My little tweezers. I've been organizing my desk, and the only downside is sometimes I forget where I put things. All right, let's get that largest diamond on there. And then while we wait for that to heat up again, we're gonna wait for those lights to come on. I'm gonna peel off that first hot foiled floral. I have one little tiny dot of hot foiling, of overfoiling, but it was just like it just stuck from the thing and my finger brushed it right off. But look at how pretty that image is. I love how just dainty and whimsical this design is. So pretty. Okay, we'll and the platform's already ready, so I'm going to turn the timer on. I'm going to save this because we are going to take time today, because we're going to use the layering stencils to color this, but it's a pretty small image. It's not going to take very long, so I'm going to use the solid foil plate and go ahead and do the reverse of both of these as well today. For the extra plates for the glimmer machine, I know you can't now. We've been asking for a long time. I think that might be something they'll do in the future. I don't know how far ahead, but yes, I would kind of like to do that too. Oh, Leah, I bet moving into a whole new space, I can't even imagine trying to do that. This is just like I've been trying to reorganize and make my space work better. And in a lot of ways, it's getting better, but every now and then there's something that I just have that muscle memory of reaching for, and then it's not where I put it. Eva, I totally hear you. I know it's an investment and you got to kind of decide if you want to do it, but I will warn you, if you do, that it's very addicting and it's very fun. And I love it. Okay, foil pretty side up, popped out of the machine again so nothing shifts. Put my cardstock down, put my two shims on, and let's run this through. Christine, I really haven't had problem with them warping. I don't think there's near as much pressure on them, and you're not cutting into them. They're just running flat through the machine. I think cutting plates tend to warp more because of that little factor of the cutting through. All right, let's get that down there. Cool. And then let's switch over. Let's get that solid foil plate heating up now. And then let's check this out and see. And look at that beautiful. Once again, another beautiful. Oh, and you know what, guys? These satin ones for these frames. Oh, I'm in love. So pretty. Like Leah said, it's such a perfect right between the matte and the shiny that it's still got a little more shine than the matte, but it's not as bright as the others. I hope they come out with all the colors in these satins because I already want them all. All right, so as soon as this heats up, we'll go ahead and do those. Yeah, Brandy, the diamonds are pretty great. I love these nested in all the options. One other thing, just while we, oh, there is that hot. So let's get that timer going. If you have a glass mat, we found that these foil plates, if you set them on your glass mat, it cools them down within seconds. It's almost instant. And I think that the coolness of the glass, when you set it down, it dissipates that heat out. And if you put it in one spot and it kind of gets warm, just you can scooch it to another spot. But it's kind of handy for when you want to put things away quickly and you don't want to have to wait a long time for them to cool down. So it's kind of just a fun little trick that we've discovered. And I'm gonna get this already. We're gonna reverse foil that one. Oopsie. And then we're also gonna do the reverse of the florals once these heat up sufficiently. Yeah, Christine, I've used both the Gemini, and a lot of people prefer it's kind of one where you have to kind of look at what you want to do and which aspects of them you like better. I found the Spellbinders a little simpler and easier for me. It's just, it tells you when it's ready, you hit the timer and it's all done. The Gemini has more options and a lot of people prefer that. But to me, it also made it a little more confusing because I had to like open the manual and figure out, okay, what heat setting do I need and how much time, and just based on the size of your plates or whatever. So, okay, normally I even heat that up longer, but lately I've been having really good results if not. So know your machine, test it. If you need more time on that, give it a little more. But if you tend to have good results, like I do, you can be brave and go for it this way. And on the solid foil plate, I go through and then I do reverse and go back the other way. Oh, Sharon, sorry. You know what? Maybe the two of you guys would like the opposite machines and you guys should work out a trade, because maybe you'll find your favorite is the other one. All right, let's see if my plate was hot enough, and it looks like it worked perfectly. I have one little speck kind of around the edges, a couple that didn't perfectly foil, and that I think I just caught it when I peeled it back. But those will be die cut off when I trim this out. So look at that beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? All right. We're letting that heat up again, and then we've got one more thing to foil. Then we'll move all this off our desk and go ahead and move over to our ink body. Sorry, grabbing a little drink there while I wait for that to heat up. And you know what else too? I've always just by default put a paper shim in with the solid foil plate. And I think it's because my old die cut machine, I needed to. And then when I got my new one, I don't think I need to as much. I've always just kind of done it because I did. But it's probably worth testing to see, do you actually need to do that before you commit and do it? So I know, right, Barb, isn't it? Yes, there is a certain satisfaction that just never, ever gets old. You just feel like the best recycler ever, because all of that would have just been garbage and trash is now something beautiful that you can use. And I'm going to die cut this out to keep that dainty edge in line. But here's the other great part. See all of those large areas, because I cut my foil a little bit big. I'm not going to throw those away because you've basically made your own custom foil paper. If you want to die cut out a little frame to put behind something, or if you want to die cut out a word die, there's lots of different, I think I've even seen, I have not tried personally, but I feel like I remember seeing Shannon heat emboss a sentiment and cut it out on here like it was on foil paper. So I'm pretty sure I saw that. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on it, but just another way to not waste some of those little bits. All right, and of course now my timer's ready here. Let's pop this out. Let's put our extra foil on there. Put our paper over the top. And put this on. And run this through. All the way through. And then back. Okay, let's see. Set that over out of the way, but let's go ahead and move the die cut machine too, sorry. Feeling like I'm just running out of space here, but let's go ahead and peel that back. Oh, you know what I did? Huh. All right, well, we won't use the reverse of this one unless we trim something off. So you see what I did? When I put my paper on, it curled back over. So I just showed you a whole nother thing to not do, but it's really beautiful otherwise. As long as I probably will save and use this because I'll probably die cut it out. And then I can use, or if I die cut the little frames, then you can use the inside to make the frames. But there's another what not to do hint from Heather. So I didn't even notice until I started to peel it back. So funny. I always used to say it to my dad because we like to joke around with him a lot. If you can't be a good example, you just have to be a terrible warning. So bloopers all the time, Barb, always. All right, setting that out of the way to cool. I'll set this aside for another day. And then let's go ahead, let's put a few things away, switch around. I'll do the die cutting on these in a little bit because let's go ahead and do our stenciling first. I think that's a good. See, and that's another idea too, Leah. Put a flower or some washi tape or something like that. That is a great plan. So I won't throw it away. I just won't use it on what I'm working on today. Goodness. Okay. So let's pull out those lovely little layering stencils for this set. Yeah, great place for a flower. I 100% agree. All right, so I did this on a little larger than an A2 panel, you may have noticed. And also, because I've hot foiled first, which is the only way you can use with layering stencils, you are going to want to line up your stencils with the hot foiled image. You're not going to line them up using the alignment guides on the corner. So we're totally ignoring those today. I love how everyone, I think it's because we all make those little mess up mistakes, whatever. We all do it. So we all have ideas on what to do with it so we don't waste them. And I love that. I love reading everyone's ideas. Sherry, so normally I would say yes, it could, but let me pull that paper out and show it. Oh, nope, not that one. This one. Where it folded over, can you see how it kind of like it pushed the foil onto the other side of where that crease was? So it pretty well ruined. So I couldn't put that through because it folded over. All right, so I've got this first one lined up. Let's pull out the colors we're going to use today. I went with kind of a fun, we're going to do orange for the flowers and then kind of a mix of aqua and blue. It's one of my favorite combos for the greenery. So we're just going to work our way through these colors. And I kind of thought it was a fun color combo that felt a little bit like kind of a mix between like a summery color combo and a fall color combo. I feel like I'm just kind of between the two seasons. It's obviously October, but the last couple of days have been around 80 degrees, which for Washington is unusual even in the summer, let alone in October. So I feel like I can't quite get my brain wrapped around what season are we really in? Sharon, yes, this is a 100-pound hammer mill cardstock for sure. All right, we've started with stencil 1. I have it lined up here. I'm starting with Apricot. I just cleaned my brush off because it's been a little while since I've used the orange and I didn't know how dark of color I had on there. And I want to keep these colors. I want to do them in orange, but I don't want to go overly crazy bold. I just want to, especially on this first layer that I'm starting off with, I want to keep my color kind of a little on the soft side. And I'm doing, trying to keep the deepest color down kind of at the bottom of these, kind of to add a little bit of a shadow, kind of a hint of just depth to this first layer. This is the only one that's really big enough to make a difference on that. The other layers of the stencils are pretty dainty and detailed. So I'm just going to kind of slowly build it up. And then again, kind of add a little extra color just at the base of each of those. I hope you can kind of see that little. Okay, so everyone's, yeah, Indian summer. I've heard that phrase a few times. Our summer was really slow to get here, really cold, really wet. So I figure we've earned a little extra summer. It just is a little bit confusing. All right, can you kind of see that little extra bit of depth I added there with that first layer of the ink blending? So let's pull this off. And here is our first layer. And again, this is kind of the one big main layer on this. So let's go ahead and move on. We're going to do the next layer on these. I'm just going to kind of wiggle these around. So there's lots of different little ways to line these up. And I kind of just look for little critical places on these layers, because as long as it's kind of all within the bounds of the flower, you don't want anything to kind of extend out, then you're going to get a pretty good line of everything. Okay, we're going to move on to the next orange. So we're going to go to Clementine for this one. And if you see me, I'm kind of dabbing a little bit of the ink off on my glass mat. This is just to kind of keep an excess of ink from getting on my blending brush as I'm going here. But because it's my glass mat, I can still kind of go over, I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of picking up that ink and I can still use it and I don't have to waste it. So every time I ink up, I kind of dab a little bit off there so that I can make use of it still, but I'm not going to get a massive concentration of color either. Okay, I'm a little bit on this layer doing the same thing, keeping the color a little deeper at the bottom and then building up softer towards the top, just to get the variation and the difference there. And let's go ahead and see. There we go. There's that next layer. Isn't that beautiful in these? And like I told you guys, this is my first time using this set. I've never used it before now. So this is new for me and for all of you all at the same time. Okay, let's just kind of figure out where these are going to line up. And if you ever have doubts, I'm kind of seeing where it lines up, but if you ever look and you're kind of having trouble, look on here to kind of see where they line up. That helps a lot. Like right up on this, I don't know if you can see, if I know that that nestles into that little spot right in there, that really helps me to know, oh, okay, so that's supposed to line up there. That one's supposed to line up in the center. All of a sudden I can look at these and it's very, very, very clear where I'm supposed to put them. So that is super duper helpful. So just a small little hint that I know makes a difference for me. All right, there we go. Now I'm happy with where that's lined up there. So let's move on to our final orange. We're going all the way up deep. This is Persimmon. And I won't have to go too crazy on this one because that's a pretty deep color. It's not going to take a lot to blend and get some color on that. And I'm not worried so much on this one. I'm not trying to make it deeper at the bottom because again, it's a very dark color. So it's not going to take a lot to get that depth on there really well. Okay, let's pull off this one and then, aren't those pretty? That's our first layer, or all of our layers, not our first, all the flower layers. So now we can move on to the greenery, which on these is very dainty. This isn't going to take very long to add these on. I'm going to kind of have fun with the colors a little bit, just because we can. It's part of crafting, gives you the ability to do what you might not necessarily see in nature. So I'm just going to use, I'm using one blue and one aqua, and I'm going to use the same for both layers. I'm just going to put it on with a heavier hand on the second layer. So we're going to use Seaside and Aquamarine. Yes, Donna, that was exactly what I was thinking when I saw this, is it's a very delicate, just such a dainty floral image. And I love how it's not really, we have some that are really full and bushy, and I love that, but there's something pretty about just how delicate this one is. So, hey, I'm gonna clean off my blue brush as well, again, because I never remember what was the last color I used. And I find if I just kind of gently rub them around on my microfiber cloth and I just keep moving to a new spot until it looks reasonably clean, that does a pretty good job of getting any excess ink off. All right, We're going to go of the very light hand on this first layer because I want that aquamarine tone, but I don't want it super heavy because I'm going to use this again on the next layer. So we're just going to get enough on there to get a little color. Then let's wipe that extra off a little just so I don't mix my ink colors too badly. And we'll grab a little bit of that Seaside and we'll make a whole new color with that. Let me just show you kind of that. Do you see how it changes the tone? It's not blue then, it's not aqua. It just gives kind of a magical new color by mixing those together. So it's one of my favorite things to do with ink blending lately. Is actually it's been a little while, but for a while I was doing it all the time, kind of making my own new color combos. All right, let's wipe this off. We're going to leave both those ink colors out because again, I'm going to reuse them on the next layer. Okay, and that is beautiful. I love those tones, kind of jewel, aqua, blue, jade. I don't know. It's its own new thing, but it's pretty. Okay, we're going to line this one up, just kind of get it all centered in the greenery there. Okay. Oh, nope, I'm going to adjust that down a little. Wiggle it around till I'm happy with it. All right, same thing on this, only this time we're going to kind of take it up a notch and go for that heavier hand of the color. This is also another great way that you can stretch your inks and your layering. You don't always have to use another color. Sometimes you just knock it up to that next color family. Or I'm sorry, not the next color family, just layer that same exact ink color, just make the color a little more intense by blending a little heavier on the next one. Now let's clean off the desk there. Probably hit that with my rubbing alcohol. I'm going to put these inks out of the way. This away real quick. And let's do that final magic reveal. See what we think. All right, can you guys see that one tone? But it made both layers and it made them beautiful and just perfect. Okay, I'm going to quickly here I'll use my rubbing alcohol to clean all the stencils, but I'm also going to just make sure I get all of the extra ink off my desk. So rubbing alcohol works great for that. Also, if you get adhesive on a glass mat, that works beautiful for that. Marilyn, it is all linked in the description, but it's called Go For It is the set. I'm just quickly checking the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, okay. I think Leah caught anything that I missed there. I kind of just got caught up in my ink blending, so sorry if I did miss anything. Pull out those coordinating dies for this. And then we're also going to pull out our coordinating nested diamonds die. We can die cut that. And then, so we can do all the die cutting at once, we're also going to die cut the stitch diamonds. Normally I would have done that in advance, but I just didn't get it done in time. So we'll just do it all at once. Okay, this is one of my favorite of our cover plate dies. It's from a previous release, of course, but I love that it doesn't have the outer cutting lines. So it makes it much easier to line up just with a panel of A2 cardstock like I'm going to do here. And I can grab little tiny pieces of tape just to hold it in place. Move them back and around. But you can also use it on a bigger panel if you want to make like a slimline card. If you want to even die cut it right in to the front of a card base, because it won't cut the top. So you just leave your card base open and run it on the top. I'm going to quickly run to my die cut machine and die cut this, and then I'll be right back. Now we have this all ready to go. And those pieces of tape I can now easily peel off and not have to worry about. We've got that piece. Move that out of the way. Let's go ahead, use those same little pieces of tape. And like I said, this is still so new. I haven't even pulled my die off of the packaging yet. So let's go ahead and line this up. Use those same little pieces of Post-it tape. Put them all to good use. I think this is going to be beautiful when it's die cut because you're going to really see that dainty feel. All right, right back again. All right, this one's done. Yeah, Sharon, it's just drugstore. It's whatever the standard low. So it's got to be just 70%. Nothing super crazy or fancy. Okay, let's pop these florals out. All right, look at how dainty and delicate those are. It's so pretty. I mean, they're so pretty on their own already, but you add that and it's just takes it up a notch. All right, and then we'll get the, oops, why did I turn it over on its back? That was funny. Let's go ahead and cut the reverse foil of these two. We might end up tucking these on here. I don't know yet, but these might be really pretty. Kind of added as a little bit of an accent piece there. All right, die cutting this. And then we're almost there, you guys. Here is this one all die cut. Oh my word, this one I can tell I love already as well in the die cut version. Look at that. And again, look at all of this extra so you can save all these pieces, die cut, do something else with them. Don't waste those. I've got even more things you can do. Pop out that little extra piece there. All right, we're done with that one. The only thing left that we need to decide, and this is where I'm a little undecided still, and I think I'm going to start by just cutting the window out of the center of this because I haven't determined if I want to cut both sides of it or if I want to just cut the inside and use it as kind of a window to peek through and show. Ooh, but you know what though? I almost like that solid as well. So I feel like it makes it pop more off the background. It's decisions, you guys, decisions. What do I think of that tucked behind there? No, actually, I think that just makes that look busy. So we might not use that version on here today. But maybe we'll just cut this. I think I'm going to do that. I might change my mind, but we'll start here. And let's see, what's the, someone, I'm going to assume, I missed the question that Leah's answering. So I'm just going to kind of leave that one alone for now. And if someone had that question again that I needed to answer any of it, just comment on there and let me know. Right, I'm going to cut this like this for now. I'll be right back. One more time. We might be done die cutting. Let's see what we think of this. Now that I've got that done, let's just set that out of the way. Let's decide. What do we think? Okay, and then I also have some options for card base. I have kind of a deep, I just realized it's not cut the right size. I'm gonna need to trim that down a little bit. It's kind of funny. I think I even scored and folded it weird. So let's quickly trim this down to the right size for a card base. It was just a little bit extra big, so it's normal A2 size card base now. So if I use this, we will have to trim a little bit off of the outer of this to make a little mat around the edges. I gotta check something here too. You know what, there is something kind of elegant about it right on that dark color too. We could use that diamond cover plate on directly on this card base, like I mentioned, and add a little bit of extra texture on there. Let's try that. Let's try that because I'm kind of leaning that way a little bit actually. So this is where I can show you. All you have to do, because again, this won't cut our card base in half. It'll just add that texture to the entire front of this. Grab a little bit of my tape from earlier. If I can use that again, then why not? I'm going to use on this side. Center that on there. I have to turn it over to the back, so I just use enough to hold it from that side and just enough from that side. All right, then let's go die cut this and see what we think. Right, peel this off nice and careful here. I can already tell I love that texture on this blue, but you see how my card base isn't cut, and now when I fold it, I've got that texture directly on my card base. So let's see if I still am a fan, and I think I really do like that. So then we just have to pick sentiment and a little bit of bling, but there's just something kind of pretty and bold about it. It's kind of fun. All right, I'm going to check one last thing here because I'm having one last idea that I kind of want to test out. I'm debating on, nope, that would be too much of the same texture. I was thinking about cutting this out to put on, but I forgot I did the texture on the background. So just a momentary little brain blip there. Just excuse me on that one. Now all we got to do is figure out what sentiment, and I'm kind of thinking we might go for that go for it on there because there is also the coordinating die for that. And I think it's going to be simple enough. I mean, we could even add the so happy for you underneath. Let's heat emboss this in gold. I think that'll be good. Let's try that. So Mini Misty, pop that down out of the way. And grab one of my little cardstock scraps here. And stamp and heat emboss. And I think if I do it in gold, it's going to blend in really nicely with that foiling, kind of coordinate. I do think I'm going to grab though, I think I'll use, I'm going to try it. This is an antique gold from Simon Says. I'm not sure if I want to do that or just stick with, actually, I think the normal gold's going to match better. We'll stick with normal gold. You guys are getting all of my like thinking out loud process today. I feel like I'm blabbing my thoughts out, but that's what it's like in my head every time I craft. Sometimes I'm able to kind of restrain myself on the lives, but some days like this, you just get it all. Okay, set that out of the way. Let's get a little bit of embossing powder on that pizza. And if we don't like the color, it only takes a second to do another one. So we can always do that. heat gun, and let's go ahead and heat set this. Get noisy for a second before Zoom mutes it. And now I got to decide, do I like that? I think that color is close enough. I think that'll work. Still unsure if that, you know what, I've still got everything all lined up there in my MISTI. We're just gonna stamp it one more time because we can. And I'm gonna do that other gold color and see if I like that better. It's not bad, but I'm just kind of curious if the other color is gonna just be a better fit. And since it only takes a second, I'd rather just make sure I'm 100% happy with it. That out of the way again. Just scrap paper here from something else that I can use. I already feel like I'm gonna like that color a little bit better. But we'll see. This is just from Simon Says Stamp. There's all kinds of ink colors you can use, or embossing powders. All right, one more. And I think I can already see I like that tone better. Definitely has a little more of that warm gold tone. This one just felt a little too yellow. So I'll save that for something else. It'll still get used. I love how everyone is talking about how they talk to themselves. I think my favorite quote, someone probably said it and I didn't see it, but of course I talk to myself. Sometimes I need expert advice. One always cracked me up. Okay, let's die cut this, and then we can decide if we want a secondary sentiment or if we want to just keep this one simple. Let's line up that little die. And I guess remember I said we were done die cutting? This might be the final little bit. All right, be right back one more time. All right, and I'm loving that on there. So that's good. I am going to cut, just going to use the scrap paper to cut a couple more to layer up for dimension. There's one. Okay. Now we've made use of even our scraps there, so those don't go to waste. And that's going to make that easy to build up a little bit of dimension there. And then of course, you know, we need more dimension. So we're going to pop a little bit of all of these up with foam. Going to be a nice dimension out of art. Yeah, I want to put this one here. It's funny how I kind of had an idea in my head of how this card was going to look. Coming out completely different than what I pictured, but I also kind of love how it's coming out. So I don't mind too bad. All right, we'll center this on. And I hadn't even thought how, I'm gonna have to kind of focus here to make sure I'm center top to bottom and side to side. How these all really work well together because that background is diamonds and then our hot foil part in the front is also diamonds. Hadn't really put all that together, but it's kind of a cool fact there. And I'm going to just put foam behind those flowers, I think. And then I'm going to just adhere the bottom down with foam adhesive, or not with foam, with liquid glue, sorry. So that'll bump up a little bit of dimension just on those florals, but not make it crazy on the rest of the card there. Not to mention all those greenery are so dainty that it would be really hard to fit foam behind all of those. We'll just put, I'm going to curl up those stems on the bottom a little bit because I'm not going to adhere the very bottom down. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of the liquid glue kind of on that spot right in there. Very carefully here now. And where we want to pop these. And there they go down. Almost going to tuck one little extra bit of foam adhesive. Let's tuck those down there behind that flower there because it's kind of poking off on the other layer. So I want to stabilize it a little bit extra since it's going to be kind of on the background layer a little more there. Okay, and you see how, if I turn that side, see how I kind of left those stems floating up and free. And we can also, I should have done this before I stuck it down, but let's curl each of those leaves up just ever so slightly. And that's going to help add a little more dimension and realism there too, because it's going to help it feel like it's kind of popping off that background even a little more, especially since they're just kind of floating free there anyway. So now that has even more of a dimensional feel there. Okay, we're going to stack these, pull out that liquid glue again. And of course, again, 2 of these are just the die cut without any stamp or anything on them. And then we've got our stamped one over the top. And it just made it a slightly more dimensional feel. Almost more like a chipboard or something like that that I'm going to put on. And I like to just put a little liquid glue and then kind of pick them up and squeeze the edges so that I get them stacked square and evenly. And even still there, I might even pop that up with, I don't know, I might even use a little additional foam adhesive on those. I'm not quite sure. Let's get it settled where we want it there, though. I think right about there is going to be good. So I think if I put foam behind that and that, we can get even a dot more dimension, because why not? I just do, let's confirm that that fits in there. Yeah. Don't really need it in the middle because the 2 sides will hold it and it'll kind of be self-supporting over that little bit of greenery at the bottom there. Go for it. And I'm still debating on that secondary sentiment, but I think I love this. I mean, I love that little encouraging, you are more than capable, but I think I love how just simple and elegant this is the way it is. We really don't want to change it right now, honestly. Oop, okay. Oh, wait, I don't need to cover this up because we still have our final touch. Time for a little bit of bling. And this is where I might change my mind because I was going to use jewels. So let's see when I get these out if I think I might, because I do kind of like the peach fuzz ones here. Where did I put it? All right, well, we're gonna go for this one. I've got one of these jewel pickers like Leah bought. And no, we don't carry it, but it's super fun. I need more. There we go, all the sizes. So if we do this, we'll maybe put one little trio down here. And one trio up here. I think that might be all that we need. I thought about deciding if I wanted to put any on the centers of the flowers or anything like that, but I think I might move these down just a little bit here. Nope, actually I like that up a little closer to the sentiment. Back to the original. Okay, and I think that is the perfect finishing touch. The peach does get, I know it looks like it gets a little washed out, but I like it better. I feel like the white is just, thought about that, but I felt like the white was just a little too stark and it almost had a pink tone. So this looks like a really simple neutral that kind of blends in. I know on camera it might look like it's really washed out, but it really does still look beautiful in real life. So I thought about switching over to the gold pearls, but those are out of stock, and we try not to use stuff in the lives that are out of stock so that we don't get all the wait, where can I get it? So try and be, I mean, we do sneak peeks, which is kind of different, but otherwise we try and stick with what we know is available. All right, some of my glue kind of went on heavy and squished out of the sides, but don't worry about that because that's going to dry clear, and with a pretty matte finish, I never notice it when that happens otherwise. So, all right, here it is up close. Hopefully you can see how well those peach fuzz jewels kind of mix in and all of that beautiful shiny foil. Look how perfect the gold heat embossing even just blends in with the foiling. I love that. And I can honestly say, my friends, this was not at all what I pictured this card looking like, but I couldn't be happier with how it came out. So thank you for hanging in there with me. And I still have this other beautiful piece that I can do something else with, make maybe a more monochromatic version. In fact, that might be where this piece comes into play. And I might just pop that on there and add, I don't know, maybe another hot foiled frame or something different. I should have finished a few minutes early and we would have escaped the trolls. They found us right at the end. Leah was ready for it though, so thank goodness. All right, I'm going to turn this camera around. I'm going to let Leah pick a winner as long as we keep those trolls at bay. It might take her a minute if they start popping back in. But thank you everyone for hanging in there with me. Let me get my camera swapped. Make sure I've got that on there right. Oops, okay, sorry, it's wobbly. I'm gonna get something better for a tripod. I got a new external camera that has a better quality and everything, but it can be a little bit wobbly. So, all right, so just a quick reminder, this is our only card live for this week. We've got a scrapbook live on Friday. If you've never tuned in for that, even if you're a card maker, one of our scrapbook design team members does that, Natalie, and she has tons of fun tips and tricks. A lot of them incorporate really well into card making too. So I hope you'll stop by for that. I always am super inspired when I'm sitting in the comments just moderating those. So, and I see Leah has picked a winner. So congratulations to Wilma Terrell. You are today's $15 gift card winner. The info is in the comment where you're tagged. To claim that, email Leah. Her name is spelled L-E-A, no H at the end, at pinkfreshstudio.com, and give her 2 or 3 days to get back to you. So congratulations, Wilma, and yay. And thank you everyone for coming today. And we're signing off right on time. I don't know how that happened, but we're on the money. So I'll take that. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and a great week. I'll see you again soon.